This Addictive Desert designs Venom rear bumpers for those of you that have a 2007 and up JK that are looking for a rear bumper that has a little bit of a different style than some of the other ones that you'll find, and maybe not quite as much off-road functionality. This is going to still be a fairly expensive bumper because of the materials that it's built from, but again, isn't going to offer quite as much function as a full plate steel bumper would, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. This bumper is going to install very easily onto your Jeep, definitely a 1 out of 3 wrench bolt-on installation that shouldn't take you more than an hour, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So what do I mean by not having quite as much off-road functionality as some of those plate steel bumpers? Well, as you can see, this is going to have some spots to mount some square LED reverse lights in it, but it's not going to have D-ring mounts, any kind of shackle mounts. It's not going to have any spot if you're using a high lift jack for the high lift jack to engage the bumper, making it a little bit safer to use that jack, which is something you'll find on some of those bumpers. This isn't going to have a tire carrier. It also isn't going to have any other types of auxiliary mounts on it. This isn't going to have a 2-inch receiver in the center either that can oftentimes be used as a recovery point on some of those other bumpers. Again, not going to be on this bumper. So what does this bumper have going for it? This is a stylish bumper that gives you a different look than a lot of the other ones. This is going to be a part aluminum, part steel bumper. It has 2 different textures, both a glossy and also a matte finish on it, giving it definitely a different style than you'll find on some of the other bumpers out there. So if you're interested in style, if you want something that's going to look good and set you apart from a lot of the other Jeeps out there, and you don't really have a need for all of that off-road functionality, then I think this is going to be a really nice bumper for you. Like I mentioned, this bumper is going to be made out of 2 different materials. The bulk of the structural part is going to be made out of steel, and that's covered in that textured hammered finish. And then the plates that are on the top and on the front, those are going to be aluminum, and those are going to be in your gloss powder coat finish. So if you wanted to get real fancy, you could actually take these pieces off, take the aluminum pieces off. You could color change them. You could color change the frame and leave the other plates as they are black. You can get a little bit creative if you want to, or of course you can just install this right out of the box. Now, some of the other bumpers that you'll find out there are going to be a similar design in the fact that they have tubes like this. They're going to be an off-road style bumper that isn't a plate steel bumper. They are going to be that tubular design. This is of course going to be tubular, but it has a little bit more plate steel in the center here, and also that plate aluminum on the top and on the front, giving you that different style. One of the things I really do like are the holes here for a standard 3-inch square LED light. And it's also going to have the mount for that as well as the hole cut, so you can go ahead and tap into your reverse light circuit, have some nice bright reverse lights installed right in the bumper without the need to cut or modify anything at all. This cutout in the center here is nice and deep as well, so if you're running up to a 40-inch tire on a tub-mounted tire carrier, you're still going to have plenty of space before the tire is going to make contact with the bumper. Aluminum is one of the more expensive materials that you can build a bumper out of, and even though this is only really half aluminum, it still does drive up the price, and this bumper is going to come in at right around $600. Now, the materials are more expensive. The quality, the build quality is definitely there, which of course is going to bring the price up a little bit. This is something that's going to be made in America, so it's not going to be something that's quite as stamped out in bulk. So they do pay a little bit more attention to detail. You get a lot of fit and finish with this bumper. So it does have a lot of things going for it. And overall, $600 isn't a crazy price for this bumper. That being said, if you have a $600 budget and you're looking for the maximum amount of off-road functionality, you can probably go with another bumper and have a few more features than this one offers. Now, a member of the install team is going to show you how to get this bolted up to your JK.
We're going to begin this installation by raising the vehicle up in the air. This is not necessary. You can do it on the ground. However, we're going to do it just to give you a better idea how to take it apart. So to remove the factory rear bumper, you're going to have a bracket on each end. There's also going to be a bracket on both sides of the middle. You're going to use a 16mm socket, and we'll take those off. For these 2 center brackets, you're going to have a lower bolt and an upper bolt. You want to take this upper bolt out so we can allow the bumper to come off past this frame section. So we're going to go ahead, crack that loose, and then you pull that out. We're gonna do the same thing for the other side. Take out the upper bolt. And once you have the bolts out of the center brackets, we're gonna go ahead and take these two 16mm bolts out here on both ends, and then we'll pull the bumper off. So now that we have all the bolts out of all the brackets, we're going to open our tailgate so we can swing this tire away. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the rear bumper. So now that we have the factory bumper removed, we're ready to install the new bumper. We're going to reuse our factory hardware. I'm going to get my helper to help us lift this up, and we'll put 2 bolts on either side. So now that we have all 4 bolts in on both sides, we're going to go ahead and tighten these up using that same 16mm socket. With everything tightened up, that wraps up our review and install. Check out more at extremeterrain.com.